One of the hardest things that you have to do in business is to pick a niche that's right for you, but also can stand the test of time. It's one of those things that can keep you totally trapped and in analysis paralysis instead of actually being able to move forward and make progress in your business and actually impact the people who need you the most. We see this all the time with our clients. It is such a common problem where they have years of experience and expertise, but they really struggle to figure out how to turn that into a transformational program. In this live coaching session from our Ascent program, I'm going to show you how we helped this counselor of 32 years turn her knowledge and wisdom and years of experience into a profitable niche, an ideal client avatar that is super clear, the pain points that they have, and the dream outcomes that she's going to help them achieve inside of her program. And at the end of the video, you're actually going to see how this all comes together in a comprehensive business plan in a matter of minutes. But before we get to that step, I want to show you how we went through this process with Darlene on this live coaching session using our proprietary tool called the Clarity Compass. So you're going to see it in action. And I want you to think as we go through the process how you can answer these questions for yourself. And if you're serious about actually taking action on this and not staying in analysis paralysis, make sure you comment Knowledge Bank below this video and we'll send you the link to access our Knowledge Bank business plan on demand. So just comment Knowledge Bank below. Let's get into it. So Darlene, if you have to answer the question, what is your program topic idea? In 2 words, what is it?
Helping counselors become coaches.
Okay. Coaches. Okay, I'm going to start here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it tells you, okay, step 1 is defining the skill set expertise because we want to define that prompt. So what's working? You're focusing on helping counselors transition into coaching, which is a valuable niche. Hard truth, helping counselors become coaches is a bit broad. So we need to pinpoint what specific skill or method you bring to the table. So this is the prompt I want you to answer next. What specific skill, process, or lived experience do you feel most confident teaching others within this topic? For example, what do people naturally come to you for help with in this transition?
Well, they haven't been coming to me, but I know what the biggest problem for me to move from counseling to coaching was, and that was we are stuck in our own codependency tendencies. And I can recognize it within a nanosecond what the biggest codependency issue is for that particular counselor.
Can I ask you a quick question? Tell me, let's take a step back just in terms of your lived experience, because I think that's an important part of this. So when it says guided prompt, what specific skill, process, or lived experience do you feel most confident teaching others within this topic? It means that you have had to experience this transition. So just to clarify, you have experienced this transition.
Yes.
Okay. Are you currently coaching?
No, you're going to teach me how to do that. Well,
Okay.
in some sense I am, yes, but.
Well, tell me in what senses you are.
Well, I'm a supervisor for interns who are finishing their master's degree. So I'm coaching them on how to build out their practice.
Okay, got it. So you're coaching them on how to build out their practice. And are you being paid to do that right now?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the one caveat I'm going to say, and this is really important as everyone works through this tool. We cannot teach what we do not know. So is it really that you're teaching people to become coaches if you haven't really become a coach yourself?
No.
Okay, so then let's drill it down. What are you truly teaching based on what you have experience in that you are the best at?
Well, I think pretty much everybody comes to me with boundary issues.
Okay.
Inside their communication, they have
And
boundaries.
that, sorry, when you say everybody, are you specifically saying counselors?
I'm saying pretty much anybody that talks to me, whether it's the neighbor down the hallway or whether it's the intern that I'm speaking to, my own daughter, like everybody's coming
Okay,
and saying,
but let's think about the business. Who are you most equipped to actually support? Because you have the most experience there. I assume, so were you a counselor? Is that what I'm gathering?
yeah, I've been a counselor for 32 years and in the
So we
health
got to
and
start there, Darlene. We got to start there, my friend. That's 32 years of experience. That's where your business lies, my friend. So I'm going to say I was a counselor for 32 years. What kind of counselor?
mental health counselor.
For
Sorry?
who specifically?
People with anxiety, depression, life transitions, like all kinds of things. It was a
Was there a
generalist people.
specific age range or no?
No,
Okay, and where did you have your own practice or did you work inside of a location?
it was through my private practice.
Okay, I was a counselor for 32 years with my own private practice, specifically a mental health counselor. Oops, specifically mental health counselor focused on anxiety, and you mentioned some other things.
Depression and life transitions. But most of
And
what I see is the codependency stuff.
okay, and would you say that that's your favorite thing to work on?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
however, my favorite part of my work is focusing on codependency. Now, let's get even deeper there. When you say that and you think of like the people that you love to work with the most, what specifically are they struggling with codependency?
Not taking accountability and ownership to their own issues in their own life.
But is it causing them the most stress inside their, work relationships, romantic relationships? Like, where would you say
Yes.
is the common denominator?
Yes, they're wallowing up in self-pity.
So
And
where specifically is that affecting them the most? Personal relationships?
it varies, but yeah, probably personal relationships.
Like marriage, or I guess another way to ask you this is this: if you could have one client and just duplicate them, what would be their core problem that they're creating for themselves in their relationships? Is it that their marriage is falling apart? Is it that they can't progress at work because they can't get along with anybody? What would you say if you think of like your favorite client you've ever worked with, or your favorites?
Wow.
You know what?
I don't,
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just start here. Let me take a step back. Let's start here. Codependency. Just describe codependency for me for a second, just because I don't know much about
well,
it.
there's about people, lack of boundaries, lack of accountability, taking control of life.
Using lack of boundaries. So you leave that out myself. So we're just gonna put that in. Sorry, everyone. Okay, that's why we have a tool. Okay, your extensive experience as a counselor, particularly in mental health and codependency, adds immense credibility to your ability to help others transition from that second. While your background is robust, you still need to still focus skill or method that emphasizes you facilitate the transition from counseling to coaching. So we have to figure out, okay, read through this, and I
It
want
is
you to tell
about
me what
believing
you
in
want to change.
themselves. It is about believing in themselves that they can build out a coaching, but the boundaries and all of that stuff is getting in the way.
Well, I think we're getting muddled too, though, because if you haven't successfully built out your own coaching business, it's going to be very hard to create a program teaching people how to do that.
Okay.
So I want to challenge you on that. And I think there's something better in here that you could create a program around that would create a lot less friction for you. So I
Okay.
want you to read this draft input, and I want you to, based on your gut reaction, tell me what comes up and take out any like transition from counselor to coaching thought process. Read this and tell me what you would change.
With 32 years as a mental health counselor focused on anxiety, depression, and life transitions, my expertise lies in guiding individuals, especially those struggling with codependency. Oh, you wrote that.
No, it wrote it for me.
Oh, characterized by people-pleasing, lack of boundaries, and accountability to become impactful coaches who empower others.
But I don't think this is correct. So really, what are we trying to do?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
So I'm going to say this again. If you haven't done it, you cannot teach it. And it will be a painful way to build a business. Because just imagine you get 100 people into your program. They're all asking you, how do I set up my coaching practice? How do I manage multiple clients? What are your rates? How do you organize your payment structure system? How do you run your finances in your coaching business? What is your
Oh,
coaching
yeah.
style? Teach me your methodology. Do you know how to answer any of those questions?
No,
Cool.
no.
So you have 32 years as a mental health counselor. What do you know how to answer on repeat all day long?
Well, most of what I've been doing is helping the interns not join, rescue, problem solve, coach, or cheerlead inside their own practice. So I think I'm all over the map.
No, I think there's
Obviously.
something important there. What if you're helping these interns be better counselors ultimately, and protect themselves and protect their mental health through working with all these people, there's something there, right? And that's something that you know how to do inside and out through your practice,
Yeah.
ironically, around codependency, people pleasing, etc. So let's say you actually work, let's just hypothetically say, and tell me if this lands. Instead of it saying to become impactful coaches who empower others, it's to become counselors who can serve their clients at the highest level without sacrificing their own mental health.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a go. Let's just give that a go. Okay, so I'm going to refine it. I'm going to say, and remember, for everyone here, as you work through this, it says this is a first draft. If I need to add more context, please do. Okay, it's really important. If it doesn't feel aligned and you need to change it, continue to do so until it feels good. Okay, so I want to, sorry about my dog, he's super annoying. I just want to tweak this statement to this. Sustainability.
There's 6 pitfalls that I call them on.
Okay, so let's get there in a second. So guiding, would you say they're like new-ish counselors, like in their
Yeah,
first
they're
couple
brand
years?
new. They haven't
Okay,
even
guiding
completed their
new
master's.
counselors, especially those struggling to create a healthy, is most of their goal to create a healthy private practice, or is that way down? Is their first
Yes, it
step
is. Yeah.
it's to create a private practice?
Yes.
Okay, create a healthy private practice where they can serve their clients at the highest level without sacrificing their mental health. Okay. I'm seeing the chat go off, but I can't see anything right now. So if there's anything that anybody needs to say to me, just say it out loud. if
A
Nicole
lot
and
of people are
Elizabeth can
getting a
let
lot
me
of
know.
value from the
Oh,
questions you're
good.
asking. Yep.
Good. Okay, great. How does this sound? So with 32 years as a mental health counselor focused on anxiety, depression, and life transitions, my expertise lies in guiding new counselors, particularly those struggling with codependency, characterized by people-pleasing, lack of boundaries, and accountability, to create a healthy private practice where they can serve their clients at the highest level without sacrificing their mental health. So it's essentially what we wrote, but it's a little simplified. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move. Okay, I'm going to say this feels aligned. Aligned. Okay, so we've got one of the 3 inputs for the authority blueprint locked. Next is defining the dream outcome for your clients. So if someone fully applied what you teach, you mentioned there were 6 principles, what would their life or work look like after in plain observable terms? So what transformation would they experience in their, it should be counseling practice, or personal life? So if you help these people in this way, you help these counselors in this way, what is the tangible outcome that they would achieve? And you can also look at what did you achieve by being able to hold healthy boundaries, not have codependency, and remain like hyper accountable in your own practice. How did that support you?
Well, they would be in full therapeutic alignment, as in the 6 pitfalls they fall into is joining, rescuing, problem solving, triangulating, coaching, and cheerleading their clients instead of offering therapeutic questions.
Okay, that's so good. Thank you so much for that. I did not catch any of the last 6 terms. Stand by. Okay, so they would be in full therapeutic alignment, avoiding the, what do they call the pitfalls?
Six pitfalls that I outline inside their audios.
I've observed,
Yeah.
which are, say it again.
joining, rescuing, problem solving, triangulating, coaching, and cheerleading.
Okay, great. And how does that affect them, like negatively, if they do these things?
Oh, they're too emotionally involved in their therapeutic relationship.
False. They are too emotionally involved in their therapeutic relationship. Oops. Which leads to what? Like, what are the most
The
awful?
people please, the people pleasing,
Well, what?
and
Okay, so what if they are people pleasing? If they are too overly involved,
oh,
and
they
in
burn
like,
themselves out. They'll burn themselves out.
okay, too emotionally involved in the therapy relationship, which leads to complete
Burnout.
burnout, and I would assume also probably like resentment of their career.
Yes, well, and they start to see that they can't even, like you said, they trade their time for dollars, and they
Right.
can't maintain it anymore.
Okay, so it leads to complete burnout, and they cannot maintain their practice or clients. So I'm just going to put this here and see what it comes back to me with, because that's telling it. It's not necessarily saying the outcome specifically, but it is giving it enough to work with to go, okay, well, I think
Okay.
we can flip this. Okay, this response provides a clear picture of the transformation your clients will experience by avoiding the pitfalls you've identified. They will achieve therapeutic alignment and sustain their practice without burnout. So the input would be, and tell me if you want to change or alter anything about this. By fully applying what I teach, new counselors will achieve therapeutic alignment, successfully avoiding the 6 pitfalls of joining, rescuing, problem solving, triangulating, coaching, and cheerleading. This will empower them to maintain their emotional health and sustain their practice, allowing them to serve their clients effectively without risking burnout. This feels very clear in terms of the outcome. Is there anything you would change or add?
No, that seems clear.
Okay, aligned. Okay, we're at 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. I really love this meter. It makes me feel like we're being very productive. Okay, so moving on to step 3. So the next piece is who identifying who will experience the most impact from your burn. We kind of already done this, but I think we might want to go into more detail. So the guided prompt is who do you picture most clearly? And think about think about real people that you've worked with, because you have so much experience doing this. So who do you picture most clearly when you think of the person who needs this, and what's their immediate pain or tipping point? Don't feel pressure to answer this perfectly. Just share what comes to mind. Maybe it's a past client you loved or someone who mirrors how you would describe yourself. So you can even think of the interns you're working with right now, because they are these new counselors. So describe them as vividly as possible, or to even describe that one person as vividly as possible.
They're young, naive. They've lived a codependent life inside their family model, and they believe that because they help their family problem solve, that they're going to make good counselors.
Oh, that's so good, because they helped their
All their friends
family
and their family and
themselves.
everybody, and they listened and
They
cared.
will
And
make good counselors. Okay. So how many years do you think they've been in this?
they, as in the ones I'm
The
working,
yeah, the one like the interns or the new counselors. How many years would they have been doing this?
they're brand new. They haven't even finished their master's degree.
So one thing to just consider there is what is where is somebody at if they're just about to start their private practice?
They're
Like,
naive and young, and
but have they finished their masters if they're starting their private practice?
yeah, they want to. They want to just go right from their master's degree to their own little shingle, put up their shingle and make 175 an hour.
So I'm gonna say, because I think if they're still in school and interns, they're not at a place where this pain is as urgent because they're not actually starting their private practice. So I'm just gonna say they have their masters and are ready to start their private practice, but are struggling, or they have just started their private practice. I think we could also say that they're ready to start their private practice or have recently started it, but are struggling with the emotional burnout of the client work because they haven't armored themselves
Yeah, I have people that I
with.
graduated 2 years ago that are coming back to me and saying, I can't sustain this, Darlene.
Yes.
I
So
can't
that's
listen.
So that's, I think, where more of like that burnout is going to come from, and that more of the urgency and tipping point is going to come from, because then they're in it. They built a private practice and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my livelihood. Okay, so or have recently started it but are struggling with emotional burnout of the client work because they haven't armored themselves with, how do I finish that sentence? The skills
Yeah.
to,
And yeah, it comes from in my opinion, it comes from a place of feeling like they, just by listening and caring and offering some problem solving techniques, that they're actually doing therapy when in fact they're not.
what are they doing when they do that? And if they're not doing therapy, what are they doing?
They're doing support work and social work kind of tendencies inside there. I was a social worker for a number of years as well.
So that's great experience to bring to the table too. So, and they're doing social and support work that leaves them burnt out, and their clients, I assume, are getting worse results for it as well, because they're not
Yeah.
actually getting the therapy.
Yeah.
And their clients are not seeing a transformation either, because they are not doing therapeutic work. I have no idea if any of this makes sense, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Develops the skills to do proper therapy. Okay, we're just gonna write that and see what comes back from it. Okay, so you painted a vivid picture of your ideal client, highlighting their background struggles and how their past experience influenced their current challenges in therapy. This clarity will help you target your messaging effectively. Well, the detail is great. We need to condense this into a focused statement that captures both the characteristics of your ideal client and their immediate pain points. So, can you read through this and tell me if it sounds
My
right?
ideal clients are young, naive counselors who've lived codependent life and believe that their past experience or problems with families qualify them as effective therapists. They hold advanced degrees and have recently started their private practice, but are struggling with emotional burnout due to lack of therapeutic skills and their own boundary issues.
Okay, great. I'm going to add that in there. And then how do you feel about this last line?
They often confuse private practice, but are struggling with emotional burnout due to lack of therapeutic skills. They often confuse social support and problem solving with actual therapy, leading to frustration for both of themselves and their clients who do not experience meaningful transformations. That's true.
Okay. Let's.
Now, I don't have the data. I haven't talked to all the clients, but I can
Well,
feel.
that's next step.
I listen to their audios all day long.
Yeah. So you're kind of weirdly doing ICA interviews without actually doing them. So, okay. So does this feel, so I've made the little change here. I'm going to say, I feel like this feels aligned. So I'm going to say
Okay.
it feels aligned, because I think it does. And the whole goal of this, like I said, is we want to get this done so that you can actually have those conversations to validate that you are correct in what you're thinking. And it isn't just a guess. It's based on actual experience and listening to these conversations every day that you're seeing a need. You're seeing that these new counselors are struggling with their own boundaries to be able to do this and sustain it for a long time, like you have for 32 years. Because that's damn impressive. To be a counselor for 32 years, that is your goal line. So I'm gonna, what's the best way to do this? Copy and paste it, or do you want to hand it over to, how do we want to put this into the authority blueprint? Because I can have Darlene do it, or we can do it on our end.
I would need the inputs if
Okay, so I'm
possible.
gonna drop, can I drop those in the, I'll drop them in the chat.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
so Darlene, we're gonna generate your authority blueprint for you and send it over. How does that feel?
Whoa. Like, are you
that
kidding me?
That is the response I'm looking for. You don't always have to validate me, but
Like the universe just dropped. Like,
well,
holy cow.
but that's the thing, right? We want to get through this part as efficiently as possible so you can actually start the process of building up a client list and speaking to people and really doing the research and figuring out if there's any further tweaks needed. But this is saying, like, this is solid, move forward with this. So that's super exciting. It is so exciting to be able to help people achieve such clarity in such a short period of time. So I hope you got a lot out of that. And I did say we now have some clarity around the inputs that Darlene is going to use with our other proprietary tool, which is the Authority Blueprint, which generates your comprehensive foundation and business plan for your online education business in a matter of minutes. So I want to show you what all of that work actually turned into. So taking the work that we did with Darlene, we then used what we got from that session and we're able to put it into our Authority Blueprint tool, which this is a tool that's accessible to all of our clients, and it hand delivers to you a 17 to 20 page business plan so that you can actually take this and execute using the rest of our methodology to generate your first clients and get your program off the ground. So I just want to show you kind of what this includes, but most importantly, I want to show you how this really transformed into her offer and what's going to be included in that and how it helps her guide, her decision-making process and what she includes in the curriculum, how she prices it, how she names it, etc. So we have her ideal client detailed breakdown and profile here, which makes it incredibly easy to know who she's trying to reach. Her clear transformation statement. So I help young counselors with codependency tendencies go from feeling overwhelmed and emotionally exhausted by their lack of boundary setting abilities and ineffective therapeutic practices to achieving sustainable therapeutic alignment and emotional health. This transformation allows them to maintain a successful private practice, serving clients effectively without risking burnout. So that's where we're starting, right? Then she's going to go into the process of actually speaking to these people. She may fine-tune things, etc., before she gets her program off the ground. So it walks her through the client journey in the words of the client. It provides her with market research in a matter of minutes to know exactly where her clients are hanging out and how she can speak to them. It provides her in the words of her ideal client what their biggest frustrations are, what their fears are, what they're looking and searching for on Google and YouTube, which helps her create really targeted content, books, people they follow, investments they might have made, what they've already spent to try and solve this problem. Just absolute gold. What they'd be willing to invest into a program like this and why it matters so much to them. Then we actually, inside of the Authority Blueprint, it creates templates to touch base and actually connect with these ideal clients, whether you know them or not. It also provides you with content topics, their core problems, their pain points, their desires, etc. It provides you with, again, templates to be posting on your platforms if you have them and creating value-driven content that will attract your ideal clients. And this is really the exciting part about this. It creates a preliminary curriculum outline for you based on that transformation. So it's telling you exactly kind of how you can lay it out. So you have that to work off of. And it also gives you 3 different naming options that are highly, highly targeted to your most ideal client and make it very clear what the program's about. And it gives you the lowest starting point for your price point so that you don't sit there overthinking or undervaluing yourself and the program you're going to offer. So it says $3,500 is the lowest suggested potential price for her POP, which is the first version of her program, and it gives you room to increase. And it also justifies why. It says this reflects the significant both financially and emotionally costs to the clients that they've already faced with an investment of over $5,000 in resources, enduring emotional strain and career uncertainty. The value of comprehensive transformation-focused program like this is undeniable. So the $3,500 price point represents a small fraction of the current and potential costs incurred by continual struggles. Considering the long-term benefits of transforming their professional practices and mental wellness, this investment is a judicious choice offering potentially life-changing returns. Okay, so it is hand-delivering all of this to you in a matter of minutes so that you can go out, start speaking to your clients, start attracting your clients, building a pipeline, and get your offer off the ground as efficiently and effectively as possible. I hope this gave you some big light bulbs, and we're so happy to be able to share this with you. And like I said, this all took place inside of our Ascent program. If you want to get started on creating your own online educational business, be sure to comment Knowledge Bank below this video, and we'll send you the link to access our Knowledge Bank business plan on demand. And if you want to take this a step further, be sure to check out this video next from Nicole on our team on how to find your $1 million course topic. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.